Lincoln, the definition of humility. Think of Lincoln at the end of the war, for crying out loud. Lincoln wants to forgive the South. Both sides drew the sword, quote unquote. Lincoln tells Grant and Joshua Chamberlain and those at Lee's surrender at Appomattox Courthouse, don't celebrate. Let Lee down easy. He did not want to see him dragged around in chains. And indeed, Lee goes back home and says, we lost, and then encourages folks to follow the Union. Reconstruction, which Lincoln was the original architect of, was very magnanimous in terms of funding and rebuilding the South in order to bring them back into the fold. Lincoln had a great sense of humor. He used to always joke about how unattractive he was. He would tell audiences, now that I'm on stage, I can finally see all of you, and you can finally see me. And I'm certain we'd all agree that I have the better end of the bargain. Cute things like that. He once says to Judge Douglas, when Douglas accuses Lincoln of being a two-faced liar, Lincoln says, Judge, if I was two-faced, would I wear this one? So a great wit, a great humility. The Emancipation Proclamation was genius. Think about it. January 1, 1863. Lincoln wanted to emancipate earlier. He pushes for emancipation in the federal district, April of 62. He originally comes up with this early in 62, but he has to wait until we have a victory. The North was losing. Think about it. If he emancipates while the North is losing, at best, it would look empty. At worst, it would look desperate. A lot of Northerners said this war is not about ending slavery, it's about keeping the Union together. Would Northerners send their sons to die to end slavery? Not sure. There were questions of whether or not it was even constitutional to end slavery. Buchanan used to say, no, I don't have the power to do so. Judge Douglas would hold up a copy of the Constitution and say, Mr. Lincoln, show me where it says that you can do this. Lincoln would come back and hold it up and say, show me where it says I can't, right? So he would flip it. So by waiting, Lincoln waited until the Union at Antietam had what he could declare a victory. He only emancipates slaves in southern states that are in open rebellion. Therefore, the border states can keep slavery. He doesn't want to drive them into the Confederate fold, right? Because he knows when the war ends, it will end everywhere. And by saying that I'm doing this only in states in open rebellion, he found an end around the Constitution. The Article 2 makes the president the commander-in-chief. Therefore, he said, I'm only emancipating for military purposes, because slaves produce food, clothing, and weaponry for the South. So Lincoln found a way of brilliantly balancing everything. The timing was perfect, remarkable.